Bree and I are reacting to the craziest content that we could find on TikTok. We've got some bad theology. We've got some just straight up weird stuff going on. We are going to analyze all of it. We're also going to psychoanalyze some of these people, giving you all of our thoughts on the chaos of the day. Just a reminder, we've got this awesome Jesus Wins merch. This is always a great reminder, especially as we're talking about elections and we never know what's going to happen. But one thing we do know is that Jesus's victory is sure. So we've got these awesome hats. I love them. They're super cute. And the sweatshirts that are really comfortable. You can go to alliemerch.com. Code Allie10 will give you 10% off. All right. Today's episode of Relatable is brought to you by our friends at Good Ranchers. Go to goodranchers.com. Use code Allie at checkout. That's goodranchers.com. Code Allie. Hey y'all, before we get to today's episode, which we recorded last week, I just wanted to say that Share the Arrows this weekend was amazing. I mean, better than we could have even imagined or planned for. Thank you to everyone who attended. Thank the Lord for such an amazing experience. And if you weren't able to be there, then if you're a BlazeTV subscriber, you can tune in tonight for a watch party, 6 p.m. Eastern time. You can go to sharethearrows.com/watch party. If you are not already a subscriber, you can follow that link, get $40 off your yearly subscription, then you can watch it. And not only tonight, you can watch it for any time after tonight too. But tonight for the watch party, there will be like a live chat where you can talk to other people who are watching. So it's really fun. So that is sharethearrows.com/watch party. Hope to see you there. Hey guys, welcome to Relatable. We've got a fun, light-hearted episode for you today. We're going to be going through some of the craziest TikTok videos that producer Bree could find. I haven't even seen all of these yet. I'm going to be giving you my organic reaction, and Bree is going to be giving you her hard-hitting analysis, and she is going to have to justify to us why she has subjected us to some of this very probably, I'm just assuming, disturbing content. And then if we have time after that, I'll answer some of the questions that you guys submitted. So she's categorized this for us. I would say the biggest category that I have is weird. Weird. So, okay, can we just get this over with? Let's do React 6, please.
Come with us to the beach. So this was the first day that I brought Peaches out and about. This is our new model, Baby Peaches, which I'm obsessed with. So when we got there, I wanted her to get some sun, and then I made her a bottle. And then we were getting ready to go into the ocean, but the sun was still so hot. So I went ahead and gave her some sunblock, and we went for it. You guys, I could hear people next to me. They were laughing. Some people were pointing fingers at me, but you know what? I love silicone dolls. I'm not hurting anybody, and this is just a hobby that I enjoy. So we had a ton of fun in the water with her. My kids were enjoying her so much. Then we even brought her into the sand, and then we gave her a nice shower, and we dolled her up and got her all changed and ready to watch the sunset, which, by the way, was a beautiful day. It was hot, but it was so nice. And then we just sat together and enjoyed the sunset. I hope you guys had a beautiful Memorial Day. And don't forget that even as an adult, it's okay to play.
I get the worst ick about these things. Like, do you know where this originated? Where did the fake baby community start? And for people listening to this, sorry, this is not a good episode to listen to probably. But
No.
This is a woman who has this silicone baby that look very realistic, and they're like floppy like babies would be. And with like real looking hair and eyelashes and expressions. And these people pretend like these babies are real. And they even have like fake baby con.
Yeah.
Where they all meet together and they have like their strollers and their baby items. This lady even said that she has kids, which I imagine is disturbing for her kids.
Yep.
It's very sinister feeling.
She actually, I did some research on this account. She makes them. So she has a company where she makes these like fake silicone baby dolls, and she calls them, when people buy them, she calls them adoptions. And then she'll send them to them, or they'll pick them up. And sometimes it's kids who like want a baby doll, and sometimes it's adults. And I think a lot of it is like they say that it's because they're, maybe they had a miscarriage or something tragic and they're trying to cope with it. And this is how they're coping with it, which
it's not healthy.
Yeah.
I can't even necessarily put words to why I really just disdain this so much. Am I wrong for being bothered by it? Because I understand the argument of like, this isn't hurting anyone. This is just like adults playing with dolls. Men can play with their, like train sets or whatever. Like, why can't women do this? There's something very dark.
Yeah, no, she said she's not hurting anyone, but it hurts me to watch it. So
yes,
she is hurting someone.
It does, and it just is a fake replacement. It's you're trying to fill a void that could be filled, should be filled with a human child. And I would say even if you can't have kids, or even if you had a miscarriage, which obviously is very tragic, you should be investing your time and energy into real kids who need love, whether you are adopting them or fostering them or not. Maybe you're just mentoring them. Maybe you're just helping them. But this is all about personal gratification. Like, it's completely and totally selfish. You're not actually loving or helping or serving anyone. And so if you really want to give love to a child, there are real children who need help. It's just so craven to me that our birth rate is declining and that the fake baby community is growing. There is something dark about that, and you can't convince me otherwise. I mean, I might even venture to say demonic about the entire thing. Okay, hopefully that's the last bit of fake baby content that Bree shows me.
I promise.
She tortures me with this.
At least for this episode.
Every time. Okay, I'm just going to kind of bounce around. Let's do... maybe we'll stay in the weird category for now. Let's do React 34.
We're at the airport, and check this out. I have this amazing buckwheat salad that I just made. What we got? Look at this. I have my buckwheat salad on the go. A bunch of sprouts, sprouted buckwheat, microgreens, and here is my secret sauce. I'm just gonna put it over. We don't have a bowl, and I'm gonna use my hands to mix all this up. There we go.
A lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. Good stuff, right?
Good stuff.
And so you just mash it and taste test.
These foods around here. So good.
So on point. Yes, guys. This is how we roll.
You know that's weird. That's why you're filming it and uploading it, right?
Yeah, she has like a crazy vegan account, and yeah, I don't know. That was the weirdest one that I found, though. And in an airport.
In an airport.
Jail.
Where people have open-toe shoes on, which is illegal. Or at least to me, it's illegal. And that's really what matters. But this is illegal, too. I don't know if she knows this or not, but I will put someone under arrest if I see this. This is a plastic bag. Okay, a huge plastic bag full of lettuce and ingredients that she is mashing and mixing together with her gloved hands. Just if you really care about health, this would be way more normal, and I'd be fine with this. Like, just carry you a glass, Tupperware container of your ingredients. That's fine, as long as there's not fish. Like, okay, that's okay. But to mix this all together in a huge green plastic bag, and to then, this was the freakishest part, when she scooped it up with her hands and ate it.
She very proudly says, "We don't have a bowl." And someone in the comments was like, "Just mix the salad at home. Put it in a Tupperware." I don't understand.
Oh, no, I guess it's all for TikTok. Okay, let's stay in the food and beverage category. I can't even imagine. This is titled, so she's given me titles on this document. Andrew Tate loves sparkling water. I can't even imagine what this is going to be. Okay, React 10.
Get all your friends around, call every friend you have right now, all of them. Invite them over for a party. When they all turn up, pour out sparkling water. Say, everyone, let's have a glass of water together. Water can't hurt anybody. What's the worst water can do? Everyone, let's have a nice glass of water. When you see that one dude, oh, there's bubbles. Never speak to him again.
Wait, what? What is the dark, sinister music playing?
I know, that's half the fun of this clip is the editing. I don't know. And I have no idea what he's talking about.
Me neither.
Why would you care?
He's such an odd guy.
Yeah.
The oddest guy, and so weird for anyone on the right to like prop him up in any way. Even if you don't believe all of the allegations against him, I know this is not what that TikTok was about, but the guy has been outspoken about like pimping out women online and making money off of that. And yet people who say that they care about family values and traditionalism and the culture here in the United States and God and morality, they're like, Andrew Tate has a point. Okay, I'm sure you can find someone else who is normal to make the points that he is making. The valid points that he is making, like, can we not? The right not be weird challenge, impossible. Any more thoughts on that, Brie? You're a huge Andrew Tate fan, right?
Love him. I just get really triggered by the way that he pronounces water.
Well, how does he? I didn't even notice.
He said water.
Oh my gosh, you sounded just like him.
See, that's how he says it. It really, really triggers me.
Water.
I'm offended.
Water. Yes. It's not that hard to say your T. Okay, let's move on to the weird theology section. Let's go with React 18.
That's not something you hear in church. Say it again. I'm anointed to be wealthy. And here's the thing. When God blesses you, don't ever apologize that he blessed you. Oh, got a new car, did you? Must be nice. Yeah, it's very nice. It's very, very nice. You want to get in and smell the new car smell? It's gorgeous. I don't have to hold my car together with duct tape and Christian bumper stickers. Don't let my car fool you. My treasure's laid up in heaven. You should also have some treasure here on this earth. Because if you give, it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
Let's see what the Bible has to say about this. The first verse that came to mind for me was 1 Timothy 6, 8 through 10. So verse says, "But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs." Like when I see everything that goes on in the world today, so much corruption in so many different spheres, so many different industries, I always think of that part of the verse that says, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils." Money in itself isn't evil. Being rich is not a sin. Earning your wealth, being prosperous in a variety of ways, that in itself is not wicked. We are not called to take a vow of poverty necessarily, but the idolatry of our wealth, the worship of our wealth, the chasing after money for the sake of money or chasing after wealth at all costs, that will always lead to compromise and corruption. We see that every day. Profit is the motivation of all kinds of people who are vying for power. It's not even power itself for a lot of people. It's the money, the status, the influence that they can get from that. And so this is not the gospel. You might not be impoverished if you're a Christian, but you might also be. And if you are, God is still good and Jesus' sacrifice is enough for you. And that's just like a very perverse pastor, a very perverse sermon to preach. And it shipwrecks people's faith because they think that they don't have enough faith or they're not really saved or God doesn't really love them if they are not swimming in wealth. And of course, that is not the indicator of God's love for us. The gospel is Jesus dying on the cross is. First sponsor for the day is We Heart Nutrition. This is the best place to get your supplements if you're a woman. This is a family-owned company. Kristen started We Heart Nutrition a few years ago because of her own health journey. And I've been taking the supplements from We Heart Nutrition for Gosh, it's been about 10 months now, and I have seen such a big difference in my health, in my hair, skin, and nails, in my iron levels, and therefore my energy levels. I have never found a supplement that works like We Heart Nutrition does. I take their iron, I take their prenatals, I take their omega-3s, I take their magnesium, I take all of those every day, and I just feel so good, and I attribute so much of that to We Heart Nutrition. If you go to their website, weheartnutrition.com, take their 20-second quiz. They'll get you hooked up with the supplements you need. You can use promo code Allie at checkout for 20% off your order, weheartnutrition.com, code Allie. Let's do one more weird theology. We might come back to it. Let's go with React 13.
If Jesus were here today, he would be a clinic escort, distracting women from the hatred of the protesters, or an abortion doula, holding women's hands and offering support and love as they end their pregnancies. And I expect he would have a stern word for self-righteous legislators who use abortion as a political issue rather than showing compassion for the people seeking abortions. If Jesus were giving his sermon today, he might also have said, "Blessed are those who end pregnancies, for they will be known for their loving kindness."
This is so evil and satanic. I am surprised that she is still standing. It is nothing but God's mercy that is still sparing her. That is just such utter trash and blasphemy. Thou shalt not murder is a pretty big one in scripture. And Jesus went so far as to say, if you hate someone in your heart, that's akin to murder. So Jesus didn't do away with the command against murder. He brought it down to the heart level. He doubled down on the commandment against murder. And certainly the God who created us in his image from the point of conception onward, who knit us together in our mother's womb, Psalm 139, certainly he would have a harsh word to say about the slaughtering, the poisoning, the dismembering of innocent, ensouled image bearers inside the womb. I've seen this woman also say that she's had an abortion before. So she has a seared conscience. She has a heart of stone, a mind of mush. That's the consequence of depravity when Satan takes over. She is living out the manifestation of Romans 1. And so she is trying to make herself feel better. She is trying to assuage any vestige of shame that she has in her heart and soul. I pray that she would repent before it's too late. But man, the punishment is so harsh for those who not only turn away from God themselves, but also lead other sheep to the slaughter. And that's what she's doing literally as she is trying to boast of the righteousness of abortion. It's also what she is doing spiritually as she is ushering souls into hell. And man, again, the consequence for that is major and lasts a really, really long time. Okay, let's bounce around to another category. Let's go into politics. Okay, I'm a little nervous. About this one. Let's go with React 23.
He didn't say Latino immigrants was doing that, although he don't like them either, okay? He did not say European immigrants like Melania were doing it. He picked Haitian immigrants, okay? Haitian immigrants. What do we have in common with Haitian immigrants? Our dark brown skin, okay? But why Haitian immigrants? Because Haiti had the strength to stand up and fight for their independence. And anytime a black man stands up and declares his God-given right, a racist is not happy. And I learned last night from Brother Reverend Jackson, it's going to take a black person to chop off the head of the racist in this country.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this kind of rot coming from pulpits, it is astounding. The reason why Donald Trump talked about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, unfortunately committing a disproportionate number of crimes reportedly is because it is Haitian migrants doing that in Springfield, Ohio. Not every single Haitian immigrant, certainly, but the number of reckless driving incidents, fatal reckless driving incidents have increased. Crimes have increased in the town because of an importation of 20,000 unvetted Haitian immigrants who come from a third world country in which there aren't really very many driving regulations and restrictions, certainly no concept of human rights or our Western understanding of the rule of law. Those people are made in the image of God. Those people have just as much value as any of us. Those people need the gospel just like everyone else does. That's true. But when we're talking about chaos versus order, when we're talking about civilization versus anarchy, first world versus third world, those things matter. They affect our most vulnerable neighbors. They affect poor citizens. They affect women and children. So we have to care about that issue. It has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do with quote unquote race. And it has everything to do with caring about the country in which God has providentially placed us, caring about protecting the sovereignty of our country, protecting our communities. As I've said before, you can either love your neighbor or advocate for the mass importation of unvetted immigrants, but you cannot do both. You can't do both. We have a right, we have a responsibility to care about the communities in which God has placed us, and even to steward our citizenship well. Wise, merit-based immigration policy is not racist or irrational. It's rational, it's compassionate, it's loving for people on both sides of the issue. And I also wanted to respond to what she said about the Haitian Revolution. Like, she's talking about, I'm guessing, Haiti ousting French colonizers. Like, do we know how Haiti has turned out since then? It's not good. Haiti is one of the most violent, poorest, and most corrupt countries in existence. The gang violence there, the pervasive voodoo, the practices that actively harm women and children and babies, the sacrifice that goes on there in the name of, in the name sometimes, unfortunately, of Christianity, but really in the name of paganism, via voodooism. I mean, it is a very dark, very, very demonically oppressed and possessed country. Yes, there's a sliver of genuine Christians there. Really, like, the only reprieve from that kind of spiritual and physical oppression that's going on there comes through Christian missionaries from the United States. Okay, so Haiti is not some kind of success story for Black liberation like this woman is talking about. And of course, the same is true in all of these liberating revolutions that they cite as like a good historical precedent for what should happen here. Like, look at Zimbabwe. It's the same thing. They ousted all of the white farmers in the name of taking back their land. Well, the white farmers were the only ones that were doing commercial farming. And so Zimbabwe went from the breadbasket of Africa actually being prosperous to being one of the poorest countries in Africa because the indigenous people that lived there didn't have the means, the capability to commercially farm. So after they burned and stole these farms from the white farmers and pushed the white immigrants out, they were left with basically nothing. And it's still, after Mugabe to today, is one of the poorest and most corrupt countries in the world. And so I'm not really sure what kind of revisionist history is going on here, but this is what happens when you worship race. And when you worship race at church, like in the name of Christianity, it's even worse. It's even more disturbing. Second sponsor is 7 Weeks Coffee. I love 7 Weeks Coffee. I love the taste. I love how high quality it is. You can go to their website and see their process for selecting the highest quality coffee beans. This is really clean coffee, but I love them really because they stand for life. It's called 7 Weeks Coffee because at 7 weeks, that baby inside the womb is the size of a little coffee bean. They donate a portion of every sale to pro-life organizations and pregnancy centers that are saving lives of these little unborn children. If you subscribe to their Heartbeat Club, get that box of coffee at your front door every month. You'll save 15% on your order. Plus, if you use my code Allie, that's an extra 10% off. 7weekscoffee.com, code Allie. Okay, let's go to Hilary Clinton. React 22.
But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
Well, for one, I love Hillary Clinton, Brie. Hillary Clinton is my favorite. Did you hear that? And she did a really good job with Benghazi.
Mm-hmm. I'm with her.
I'm totally with her. And I, for one, am super sad that she is not president. I'm with her forever. I actually wish that she was running for president right now.
Oh, yeah, always.
Yeah. If she is on the panel of what's determining misinformation, like how soon after Kamala Harris is inaugurated do you and I go to jail?
I know. Or get killed.
Gosh, Brie.
Well,
so dark, so fast. I was at least thinking,
I don't know. I'm just thinking of, the Hillary Clinton's past.
Oh,
you never know.
That's true. That's true. Just, we're going to go on the record and say we're both happy, fulfilled people. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, these are the very people who say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. The very people who are saying, oh, yeah, we think that some people should be able to be put in jail for saying things that we deem subjectively, arbitrarily misinformation, aka information they don't like. We saw how this happened during COVID. They deemed things misinformation that were perfectly, at the very least, rational theories, if not provably true. I mean, that's going to apply to everything, whether it's gender, abortion, immigration. And Hillary Clinton apparently is going to be the one in charge of that. It's just laughable that these are the very people who say that Donald Trump is going to take your rights away. They don't care about the First Amendment at all. Remember, once again, Kamala Harris, when she was Attorney General of California, she went after David Daleiden, the pro-life reporter who reported on the alleged pay-for-play scheme that Planned Parenthood was engaged in, allegedly selling baby body parts for profit. She raided his apartment, did nothing to Planned Parenthood, didn't even investigate Planned Parenthood. And then, of course, tried to force the Reproductive Fact Act on pregnancy centers to prominently advertise for free abortion. They're pro-life pregnancy centers. That got overturned by the Supreme Court because it's a clear violation of the First Amendment. These people hate your First and Second Amendment rights. And so they're trying to convince you that Donald Trump is going to take your rights away because he has appointed the Supreme justices that overturned Roe v. Wade and put abortion back to the states. Like, when they're talking about freedom, their version of freedom is sexual libertinism and abortion, which really falls under the umbrella of sexual libertinism. That's all they mean by freedom. When they're talking about taking your rights away, when they're talking about their side championing liberty, they just mean weird sex stuff and abortion. That's it. But when Donald Trump is talking about freedom, he's talking about like the freedom to live in a sovereign and secure country in which your First and Second Amendment rights are upheld. And that's the kind of freedom that I care about. Okay, let's go to React 8. POV, my face when I see a black singer. She's kidding.
No, she's not kidding. However, I do think that she's like Ukrainian or something. And so I think that she is from somewhere where maybe
Yes. Okay. So
there aren't as many black people. I don't know.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And she's like super thrilled. If you're
She's
just
so
listening to this, she's like grinning from ear to ear. My face when I see a black singer. And this is like white saviorism.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What are the comments like? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think a lot of them asked what you just did, which was, is this a joke?
Yeah.
I don't know. The algorithm feeds me comments that I want to see, of course. So I'm seeing the comments that are like, really, seriously? But I'm sure there were a lot of sincere ones too that were like, me too. You know?
I don't know. I mean, this would be, I guess, the first black singer ever, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There are no more.
Yep.
So I'm glad that she finally found one.
Yep.
Okay. Against my better judgment, I'm going to call for React 4. Okay, Bree. Do I want to know what the text says? I can't see it. My monitor is too far away.
It says maturing is realizing there's nothing wrong with being harmlessly weird.
See, this is like the fake baby thing. It does harm. It harms me.
I'm harmed, yeah.
Okay, people should think this doesn't apply to every single thing that we do, and you can't apply this to every single thing that we do. But I think a good filter for certain kinds of like choices and behavior is, what if everyone did what I'm doing? Would that be better for society or worse? And if the answer about your choices is consistently worse, if it's like, oh, worse, like if everyone had fake babies instead of real babies, that would be worse because we'd go extinct. If everyone filmed themselves dressed up like an animal and leaping through a parking lot, that would be worse for society, right? So maybe that is just a way to think about, like, if everyone made their salads in the airport, their buckwheat salads, and mixed it together, like that's like, in general, not great for everyone to do at the same time.
However, people who dress up in furry costumes would probably disagree, and they would probably be like, oh, I think it'd be great if everyone did it. Because then they probably wouldn't feel like freaks.
But okay,
you know?
but no, they like that though. I feel like that's part of it, is feeling different and feeling unique. Like, you don't really know me. I'm secretly a wolf. You think I'm just Ethan, but when I'm secretly howling at the moon every night. And I think having like an underground kind of identity and community that the rest of the world doesn't really understand, that seems to be a motivation. But then they also have like FurryCon, which if you remember, Rolling Stone reported on this a couple of years ago. They reported on how Florida's law against like having any kind of sexual content in front of children, FurryCon was mad about that.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Shocker.
Why would you be mad about that? Because I'm not saying every single person who's a furry, but the furry world is inextricably intertwined with fetishism. Mm-hmm. It's real weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, less that. And again, I think that there is something deeply spiritually and emotionally and mentally wrong when we are prolonging adolescence into adulthood. When you still feel the need to play with dolls, like when you still feel the need to dress up and film yourself, like, why are you having a failure to launch? Why aren't you channeling those desires into mature things? That's a deep issue, especially on a wide scale.
Yep. It's true. And a lot, the argument that you're not hurting anyone is like, okay, but those people are actually hurting themselves. I would even argue people who are like severe Disney adults are harming themselves by being so obsessed with something like that.
Yes.
You know, it's fine to go to Disneyland, but Disney adult is a whole different thing.
Yes, I know. And it's like, it's one thing if you're like, oh, I'm in Orlando and it would be fun to stop by or something like that. Okay. But people who turn it into their whole personality, they're obsessed with it as adults, especially those who are obsessed with it independent of any kids. I don't like it because, I mean, we haven't gone to Disney World. I don't think that we are going to, but it makes Disney have to cater to an adult customer base rather than kids. And a lot of these people, they call themselves child-free by choice. They actually like have an active resentment for kids, and they feel like the kids at the amusement park are getting in their way.
Yeah, that's so true. I get the nostalgia of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I get people who maybe go to Disneyland and are like, I love roller coasters, fine. But the people who like go and are doing meet and greets with princesses and things like that, I'm like, and like Marvel characters, I'm like, can we be serious for a second?
No, we can't. There's something really, really wrong about that. And I think it's like the over psychologizing of our society too, where everyone thinks that they are healing from some trauma or trying to coddle their inner child. That's not a thing. Like coddling your inner child is not a thing. You don't have an inner child. You are a grown adult. That doesn't mean you didn't go through hard things. That doesn't mean you didn't have a hard childhood that you have to heal from. But first of all, like you need Jesus Christ to heal from that. And doing childish things is not going to heal what you went through. It's actually probably going to make it worse. And it's definitely complicating things for the people around you. So we just made that really serious. But really, there's weird stuff going on. Third sponsor is Alliance Defending Freedom. I love Alliance Defending Freedom. Their attorneys are amazing, defending people who are just exercising their First Amendment rights. Very often, their Christian values, and they are being attacked through lawfare by activists, by the government. ADF stands in their stead. You definitely need to support ADF. Follow ADF if you don't already. But also, you should download this free guide that they have. It's amazing. It's called 3 Ways for Parents to Navigate Destructive Gender Ideology in Schools. They're not only telling you about this ideology, the subversive ways it's showing up, but your rights as a parent. Go to joinadf.com/Allie to download the guide for free. That's joinadf.com/Allie. Okay, I guess let's keep going on the weird stuff. React 5.
I have a fairy who lives in my kitchen. His name is Cinnamon, and I've worked with tons of different fairies and different types of fairies over the years. So let me tell you some fun facts about fairies and also some tips to keep in mind if you want to work with them. Fairies exist in tons of cultures. Eastern cultures, Western cultures, indigenous cultures, a lot of them have beliefs in fairies or fae-like beings. Fairies or the fae realms exist, like if you think of a Venn diagram, they are one of the circles that overlap our Earth circle. So they're kind of like a next door realm to us, and they can interact with us, and we can kind of interact with them, and there's like kind of a mutual understanding there that used to be a lot stronger, and it's getting now stronger again. Fairies do like shiny things, mostly. They also really like sweet food and occasionally beer or wine. So if you do feel like you might have fairies, especially outside, you can leave them those types of offerings. That's usually accepted.
Watched Peter Pan once. And yeah, I'm like, you just described Tinkerbell. Okay, don't act like you know these things. I think there's even a part on Peter Pan where Tinkerbell gets drunk on champagne. Okay, so...
Are you telling me you haven't left out offerings for your fairies?
Well, only once or twice. Yeah.
Good.
But that was a long time ago.
Her fairy's named Cinnamon.
Oh,
which I
right.
love.
It would be.
Yeah.
No, this person is communicating. This is the same person that said that Christians are going to evangelize ghosts. Oh my gosh. Well, you're communicating with demons. If you're really communicating with anyone at all, and you definitely need to be evangelized to, you definitely need the gospel. But again, people are just like searching for something more, searching for purpose and fulfillment in these very bizarre places. And they are not getting it. Let's go with React 11.
Why doesn't anyone love me? Do you love you? Yes, I get massages. I treat myself to nice things. I say affirmations every day. That's not true self-love. That's your distraction from the absence of it. I thought self-love was treating myself like the queen that I am. True self-love comes from something much deeper. It's about giving yourself the space to become your best version, while at the same time being able to accept yourself from where you're at. But where I am isn't really that great, so how can I love myself knowing how crappy it is? That's exactly the challenge. And yet, when you can do that, you're on your way. And then other people can love me? Indeed, because now you can allow others to reflect back what you already hold within.
Why is the universe British?
It's a good question.
That's
I guess
what I
the
want.
universe is more sophisticated than Americans.
Yeah. Gosh, I hate that so much. I hate everything about that. I do think that it is important to realize like all of the stuff that we hear that is self-care, self-love, like getting massages and doing whatever you want to do, that really is kind of superficial and vapid. There's nothing wrong with doing those things, but doing that in the name of I've got to put myself first, well, then it just ends up being what we call trendy narcissism. And look, she almost gets there. She almost gets there. The truth is that you are never going to love yourself into confidence and fulfillment and satisfaction because we're just unreliable. We're moody. How we feel about ourselves or about anything is dependent upon how much sleep we got last night, what we ate this morning, what people are saying to us or about us, a million different factors, what time of the month it is. And so if you are depending upon yourself for love and satisfaction and fulfillment, you will continually be disappointed, which is why we have to go outside of ourselves to the God who created us, whose love for us doesn't change, but is fixed on the person of Jesus Christ, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That is the love that compels us to have true confidence, not in ourselves, but confidence in who we are in Christ. And that's really good news because it doesn't wax or wane based on how we feel. And that means that we can go out and love other people without worrying about how we feel about ourselves that day. What is React 9? The Pleiadians?
Oh, yeah. Aliens.
These are aliens. Okay, we're back to the alien realm. Let's do it. React 9.
There's a lot of talk of aliens in my book. I am a Pleiadian. Most of you probably are too, or at least some sort of hybrid of a starseed family. And I read about the Pleiadians many years ago, and instead of feeling like, whoa, this is weird, I innately knew that what I was reading was true. This was the truest thing I had ever known. It was everything I felt in my body but never could articulate until I read the channelings of the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians are dense. So I decided to extract their wisdom and pour it into my book, disseminate it in a way that people can receive.
Okay, Brie. Are you part of the Starseed family?
I am.
Are you a hybrid or are you full Starseed?
I'm full Starseed. And that's why I slipped this in here. I just wanted to, it's a little bit of
the truest thing we've ever known. You know,
Yep.
Jack Marino, we'll link that episode. She talked about this and she realized she was communicating with demons. And she thought this too. Like she would have said, oh, I knew these extraterrestrial beings, that I had a relationship with them. And then she just got darker and darker and deeper into the occult. And I think that's just what Satan does. But this person like this is making it seem very beautiful and spiritual.
Yeah. Well, she's also just trying to sell books. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she's saying she got this supernatural knowledge from aliens and she disseminated it into a book. And now she's selling it with a glitzy cover. I mean,
it's nice of her.
Yeah.
Last sponsor for the day is Birch Gold. Did you know there's nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds yet to be spent? So that's a massive amount of money that this lame duck administration is pushing hard to spend in their last few months, which means inflation could possibly get worse towards the end of the year. You need to protect your savings, and you can do that through a gold IRA from Birch Gold. It is the ultimate inflation hedge for your savings in uncertain times. See how to protect your IRA or 401k and get your free info kit on gold by texting Allie to 989898. Text Allie to 989898. Let's do a couple more. Let's do React 32. I'm interested to see what this is.
The Roe baby is alive. She had the baby. Do you know that part of the Roe v. Wade story? She had the kid. She didn't even get the abortion. I feel like they leave that part out. She got arrested trying to get an abortion, had to go to court, and the court date was like a year and a half down the road. So they're like, you're having the baby. She wins the court case, and she was like, so I can kill my baby? And they're like, not now. No, not that. Not. Not that one. The next one. The next one. You can totally rip out of there. Gave that one up for adoption because it turns out there are other options. And that kid found out at like 50 years old that she was the Roe baby. Everybody just assumes she's pro-abortion. She's like, it's complicated. I mean, it was... I got to say, the government came in good for me there.
I mean, he kind of had a winding way of doing it, but that ultimately was a pro-life joke.
Yep.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's true. She was given up for adoption, and she does, I think, have some complicated thoughts about abortion now, but she's definitely not pro-abortion because she's seen, I guess, how her mother has been used by that side. So,
oh, totally is. Absolutely. And I appreciate when comics make this kind of stand, especially men. I mean, it'd be nice to see women do that too. There just aren't very many female comics, of course, that are like conservative. I feel like most of them joke about sleeping around, which, okay, I guess if that's your cup of tea. But it would be nice to see like a true female comic that makes jokes at the expense of radical leftism. I'm interested also in React 33. Let's see.
It is common belief that to eat French fries, we can do this. Or this. Think again. We place the chips on the plate. Cut them with a knife and fork. And place the condiment on the chips with a knife.
Okay, so this is a really good diet option. You get so demoralized by having to eat French fries with your fork and knife that you just stop because you lost your will to live.
Yeah, it's so much work.
So much work.
And no one's even there with her. It's not like she's trying to be polite for someone.
Is this like a manners lady?
Yeah, I think, like etiquette. She's teaching etiquette.
I would never. If you were on a date, Brie, and the guy started eating his fries like this, would you stay for the whole date? Would that be honestly and truly, would that be a deal breaker?
Deal breaker. Does he eat everything like that?
Yeah.
Like everything you're supposed to eat with your hands, he eats like that.
Hamburgers, pizza. Yeah. He's just like, I just don't like touching food with my fingers.
I think that'd get old pretty fast, to be honest.
But if he was great in every other way.
Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
I would be.
We'd have to have some discussions about it, though.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
If you got to date 2 or 3. So, hey, so I was just wondering.
I've noticed.
Like, are you doing that on purpose? Or is it an accident? I don't know.
Maybe he just took etiquette classes.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe getting ready for your date, he took cotillion. Did you take cotillion?
No.
Do you know what cotillion is?
I do. Yeah, I had friends who were in it. Yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
think
know.
I needed it, but
yeah, maybe I probably did. There are probably things. Actually, I do think that when I'm at formal dinners, which I do go to banquets a lot because I speak at them, I do kind of panic every single time picking the right fork. Do you, or do you feel like you know?
I don't think I would know if there were multiple forks which one to take.
Yeah, there's always multiple forks.
Yeah.
And I'm actually forgetting. Do you know what's the rule? Outside in. Okay, I think that is what I do. I knew that you would know. Okay, that's good to know. Should we end on another one? Is there any that we didn't hit that you're like, oh, let's do this?
I think the marriage ones are kind of fun.
Okay, let's do one more then on marriage. Okay, between the two that we have left, which one should we do?
I would do React 1.
Oh, React. Okay, let's do React 1. I'm scared.
Statistically, there's more women on Earth than there are men. And if every single man married only one lady, there would still be millions of single women on this planet. Why would you want that for your fellow sisters? I love my friends, and if they wanted to marry my husband, I would definitely encourage it.
Oh my gosh. No, I would rather a woman be single than have to share her husband with another woman. That's just gross. for so many reasons. And think about also all of the emotions that go into that. I mean, we saw every time there was another woman involved in someone's marriage in the Bible, like Sarah, Hagar, it got messy real fast. Like polygamy is described in the Bible, but it is not prescribed in the Bible. And that is why we are given the dictate to define marriage as between one man and one woman. And this person is Muslim, I guess. And so that's also a distinction between Christianity and Islam. Of course, their chief prophet married a child when she was, I think, 6 or 9. But of course, in Christianity, we are called to marry one man and one woman and to be fruitful and multiply. Right there in the definition that you see, it's got to be adults that are able to do that. And we see that it is monogamy. That is the foundation of societies, and that is reflective of Christ and his church, the bride and the bridegroom. Christianity's got the answers, and God's ways are always better. Brie, do you have any thoughts on that?
I did some research on this account because all of the comments were turned off where I first found it. And I realized, because my question at first was, is she joking? Because she's kind of like smiling. It almost looks like she's laughing a little bit. And I couldn't find out because the comments were turned off. So I went to a different platform where she also posts, and all of the comments were men who were like, yes, sister, finally someone is saying it. Not sarcastic. These, I'm assuming, are Muslim men. And
assuming, unfortunately, we can't even assume that. The red pill crowd is
that's so true. So I guess she's for real. She has a website called like Collectively Married or something like that, where she does courses on all that stuff. So yeah, it sounds like just a blast, and her marriage sounds super fun too.
Yeah, super fun. It's hard to believe that on TLC there was that show called Sister Wives.
Oh yeah,
I think they have disbanded.
Oh yeah, I think like 3 of them have left now, right?
There, I guess.
I don't know how many there were.
Yeah, there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry for everyone that is involved in that. Okay, do we have any final thoughts on anything?
I'm so sorry. This is my formal apology for all the disturbing content.
To all of these things. I know we didn't even get into any of the questions. Sorry. A lot of interesting content out there. Okay. Hope you guys had fun watching all of that craziness. If you love this podcast, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen. It helps us out a lot. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done that already. We will see you guys back here next time.